You just take out the first person who has a weapon, and then now you have a weapon.
Yeah.
Ancient Chinese secret.
Oh, I get to hold the mic.
Yeah, you get to hold
You
the
guys
mic.
are high end.
Right. But he said we get to
I
as
feel
if
like,
we're not
yeah,
making him hold the mic.
I don't think we've ever been called high end yet.
Oh, that
Sheriff.
wasn't a serious comment.
Okay.
No,
Trust
it was
me.
very sarcastic.
Now you understand why I'm the humble comic.
I got it.
Slow. Rocketeers, we've got Sheriff Chris Swanson on the pod.
Sheriff Chris Swanson, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to
Appreciate
Flint,
it.
7th floor, first we believe.
Yeah, the
Yes.
tallest building in Flint, is that correct? No, I'm
Ish.
just, all right, we're getting there.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go ahead and say it when you were asking about, learning about who you were and just right out the gate. It was 2020, man. The way you handled that was
thank you, brother.
out of control. I wish we had more leaders like you. I wish there was more people that saw a situation where, like, hey, maybe pouring gas on a fire is not how you put this one out.
That's
So,
right.
Yeah, that's how I first.
Really?
Yeah.
That's 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was a
Just
long
coming
time
back.
ago.
Yeah.
I feel you've probably talked about that more than anything at this point, right?
It is, man. It just keeps coming up because it was such a moment. That story reached 3.2 billion people in 24 hours around the world. But like you said, Louis, it was that moment that sent a message that created a movement.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, it got through to even our underbelly world where when Joe Rogan's talking about it.
I know,
like,
man.
Yo,
Yeah, that was
Saint
because when I
Rogan.
first saw it, I thought it was local news.
Yeah.
Because I live in Michigan, and then I've lived all over the country, and like my friends in Chicago and in Mississippi knew about it.
Yeah.
And it was
Also,
bizarre.
crazy juxtaposition to how you handled certain situations versus who was the like. It wasn't during the riots, but the sheriff down in Louisiana that made that commercial about
Joe Arpaio?
Yeah, where he's like,
No, that's
Are you familiar with?
I have never met him. You talking about from way back in the day?
Yeah, it's like it's an old commercial he made, kind of, where it's like him and the rest of the deputies all kitted out. And they basically talk directly to the gang members, like, let's have it out, let's shoot it out. And like, all right,
I'm a fan of him because of the Steven Seagal Lawman. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
The juxtaposition of your two styles of sheriffing, I was like, all right, we're a little different.
There's a time for law enforcement to bear the sword, slay the dragon, and there's also time to look for an alternative way to keep things from becoming violent. What most people don't know is I'm third generation police. My dad and my grandfather, both Detroit police officers. So my grandpa did 32 years on the job. It was in the 1945 race riots. Wow. My dad was in the 1967 race riots.
Whoa.
And so I'm the youngest of four. I grew up hearing stories of how things were handled.
You broke the streak.
Right. and literally on that day, we had planned, how many people we could take to jail and how many flex cuffs we had, 1,000. And we were watching the intel because they were saying, we're going to raid this neighborhood. We're going to blow this up. We're going to burn this up. We have all of our, rocks and stuff stored. We had this under investigation kind of network. But that being said, we went there. But when I saw the crowd, and to make a long story short, and they passed where they were not supposed to pass, I knew right then and there they were committed. But when they came up to the police department and they were walking towards us, and we were outnumbered like 50-1, and they're screaming and chanting.
Did that play a tactical, role in your brain as well? Where you're like, it felt
we're outnumbered.
If we drop one here,
it's
done.
over. It was literally one move on either side, and it'd have been over, and there would have been bloodshed.
Yeah.
And they're just, mother effing us and screaming and yelling. And you had cops with batons and shields and helmets, and some were shaken, some were angry, some were veterans, some were new. And literally, I'm thinking, there's got to be a better way. Like, how did we get this out of control? Because of some guy in another state that took a man's life in 9 minutes, now we're paying for it. And that was the moment. I'm like, there's got to be a better way. Yeah. There's got to be a better way.
Well, Doug, you also humanized yourself immediately when you took your helmet off.
That's right.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's a guy.
It's a guy.
Right.
It's just a dude.
He has a face.
Yeah. And
right.
And you're much more politically correct than John and I, but when you're like I'm paraphrasing, some asshole way the hell over there fucking did something. That's not us.
That's right.
I was like,
that guy gives hugs.
Yeah, that guy gives hugs.
Dude, that moment went ultra viral.
And it's
and
funny
then some of the cleanest dap-ups I've ever seen,
Dog,
too.
Yeah, you're legit.
When you're dismounting.
Legit, dude. I was like, this guy does
funny,
hang
man.
with the youth. He understands the culture.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, when I even use the words, I'm going to turn this into a parade, not a protest, because I was trying to de-escalate the mindset that people think, oh, parades, I can do that.
Yeah.
It didn't change the righteous anger that even I felt. Like I was angry as to what happened because that's not who police are.
Right.
But I'm telling you, that moment was a pivot point in my whole life.
Truly a role model for
thank you, bro.
Like good police. Like you know, I hated the whole defund movement. I was like, you can't say defund and then want better quality. Like, when have you ever gone to a McDonald's? And not to equate you guys to a McDonald's. I understand. But you never go somewhere, get a shitty meal, and be like, give them less money and resources, and then make it better.
Yeah, right.
Like what? Yeah.
Well, I think it's one of those phrases that means something different to everybody who says it.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I took advantage of that. That was what I call, that was like, political malpractice to say that's the answer is to defund the police. No, the answer is to evolve police. Yeah. That we need to get from behind the podiums as leaders. We need to show from the front lines what this looks like. We need to see the places that we are lacking and fix them without putting up this resistance. Every profession evolves. So I've taken the mindset of we're going to be a better profession. I'm going to take the lead from what I can do, set the tone, set the example, do the right thing. But it's our job to show people why they should love the police. It's our job, not your job. It's our job every day.
Believe me, Johnny and I are probably not the two fellas showing people why to love the cops.
Well, speak for yourself.
I've been pulled over plenty. I'm joking around.
I bet you don't have a high ticket conversion rate though, because you'd probably just come out just a good,
You talk your way out of it.
Well, until I recently moved to Chicago, so I'm still learning. But I lived in Lansing for 10 years. And did jiu-jitsu, and I fastly found out that most of the mid-Michigan cops also do jiu-jitsu.
Right. Every fight goes to the ground.
And then, but on top of that, they're not quick to the pistol because they know how to like remove a hand and be like, no, let's talk still. Like, what are we doing? That's right.
Yeah.
So again, training.
You got to have ice water in your veins, so you don't have
ice cold.
Yeah, you don't want to be pushed emotionally.
Right. Yeah. I wanted to ask, because we were just talking just a bit before we started recording about comedy, and David was telling me earlier that you have sort of an unseen funny side. And I was wondering about, like, if you watch comedy, if you consume it, who your favorites are or anything. Did you... Like, do you watch stand-up at all?
You are naturally funny. It's just crazy. I'm like, what, dude? We're getting out-comedied by a cop right now.
Oh, my gosh. I got to be careful because some my tongues,
on this podcast,
I know you guys understand. You say things where you're like, I shouldn't have said that.
Sure,
but I can tell you that comedy and humor and looking at things light has allowed me to work 32 years in a world with so much death and violence. The first time I saw true death, I was 18 as an intern. A guy shot himself in the head, and his wife came back from Burger King and found him, and I can smell the blood, the gunpowder, and I was a young kid. And then from there, seeing thousands and thousands of scenarios of brokenness and death and violence. And how do you stay normal? It's because I'm like, you know what? I can learn a lesson from this. I can teach a lesson, but I also need to stay light and optimistic.
Right.
Yeah. I'm a perpetual optimistic. But to your point, Happy Gilmore, man. That is the funniest. Go-to. And now they're making a second one.
They're making the sequel,
I'm so excited.
Hang on, follow-up question.
Yeah.
Did that ruin Burger King for you for the rest of
No, dude, no. I just had it 2 days ago. It was seriously. I love the Impossible Whopper, but what I had, where I had it, was like eating a dry dog bone. It was not good. It was not good. So I'm going to give him another chance on the Impossible Whopper.
32 years on the force and you're still doing fast food. And
listen, I was a quick. Can I tell you this? I've never eaten a donut in uniform.
All right.
There you go. So don't judge.
Fair enough. I wouldn't. I'd be like, dude, you could, because 32 years. Dude,
I deserve a donut.
You're jacked, buddy.
Yeah.
That's out of control.
I appreciate it. I stay fit. Well, that's for sure.
I think there's an implicit bias to citizens. You're more trusting of somebody in law enforcement if they seem like they take care of themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, here's the thing. Imagine you calling 911 and you need help or you need somebody rescued or extracted, and that person has not been trained and is not fit to fight for your life.
Sure. Yeah.
And to think about whether it's, lifting something, crawling through something, fighting for somebody's freedom. And you have to always say, prepare in peace to perform in chaos. Like the moment that you're called to duty, you better have your affairs in order, because they need you for the first time and maybe the only time in their life. So that's why I'm ready to rock, man. You can't stop this.
Dude, well, it's like, you don't want to be Chief Wiggum in The Simpsons. That caricature.
One of my favorite comics, Kyle Kinane, does talk about the police, in that he's like, you guys have a like public service job where almost 100% of the calls and interactions are not like awesome.
No.
Like if people are calling the cops, it's not like, hey, let's see what they're up
I'm
to.
having a great day. Let's call 911.
Yeah.
Right, for
oh,
sure.
Yeah, I was just kind of lonely. Wanted to see what you guys were doing.
Right.
Like, no, dude, it's lights and sirens and out of control, man. So
when you said you're a third generation cop, is that all Michigan? Your family has always
just
been here?
my dad, my grandpa, DPD, and then myself, and then the bloodline ends with me, because my boys are doing something completely different, and nobody's doing law enforcement. So I killed it.
Damn,
was there any part of you that
I know?
Well, hang on, maybe you broke the curse though, because if you'd have started a riot, maybe one of them
kept
going.
No,
like,
man, that would have never have happened. Man. That's it. Yeah.
Was there any sway one way or the other on your part on what your boys would end up doing? Was there a party that wanted them?
I mean, my boys are legit. My oldest Riley is 26. My youngest is 24, and they're both good dudes. They love people. They have great businesses, and they're my oldest is in dental school. He's married. My youngest is he's got his own business, and he's a content creator. They're just good people and good dudes. Seriously, and they're hilarious and just good men. So the point is, I've exposed my kids to a lot of careers and let them find their way.
Yeah. That's good dad energy.
Yeah.
I'm
a good dad.
Career-wise, like my dad. Yeah, dude, you're a good dude, good dad, good cop.
Boom.
It'd be wild if you were like super chill out there and then just like, rough day at work. Like, oh my God, dude.
You bring up something I can tell you that I get asked more than anything else, other than do I dye my hair? And the answer is no. Is he always like this? Sure. Always.
No, dude, I vibe with this energy. What's up, dude? I don't want to talk about your anxiety, but I feel like you know a little bit of that wiggle where you're like,
Well, I think so. I obviously had seen the video from 2020, but I became a fan of yours from watching Takedown with Chris Hansen.
Yeah.
I remember my ex-girlfriend and my girlfriend at the time, we'd binge the show because we were both like lifelong Chris Hansen fans. And she's from Reese. And so when we would watch the Genesee County episodes, it blew our minds, and we were like, we can't believe this is happening here. But then it would always.
I was like,
I know.
It was always so, it's Hansen, so it's like it's dark, but then there's a party that's sometimes getting schadenfreude. You're kind of laughing at the guys a little bit and them getting caught sometimes. And then at the end, it would always cut to him interviewing you, and immediately. And I always do this comparison because there's the episodes with you, and there's these episodes that are in Polk County, Florida, with Grady Judd.
Yeah.
And you are the most Michigan guy, and he's the most Florida guy. Where like it cuts to you, and you're very charming and friendly, and then it cuts to him, and he's just like, "We got to put these guys under the jail." And it's like the two totally valid, different approaches.
Doing the same work.
Yes, the same work. Right. Yeah, ultimately.
Yeah.
It's like it taught me like a good cop doesn't look like one thing.
Right.
It can be various different things.
Sure.
No, I was just gonna say, with a little bit of hyperbole, it's incredible every time you guys arrest a dude like that, because it's always dudes. I don't know if I've ever seen.
We have done our female predators too,
Damn.
but a very small
They don't make
percent.
air.
Listen, we did one where we had a male-female team that were grooming young girls. They were doing DMs. They would get them to the house, get them drunk, smoke, and then they would get them so juiced up that they would take them down. They would monetize their assaults, and then when they would send them away. And they wanted to come back to do it more, they would send a video or a picture, and it was creating this content creation. They had all the windows screwed shut. They had a big bar in the door, and that was a male-female team.
That's an organized criminal operation.
Right. One of our first operations, I know we're supposed to be humorous, but one of our first operations.
Real?
Listen, we arrested a dude and on a go stop, and we always grabbed their phone, and we found that that he had another female counterpart just about 5 miles from where we are right now, and she was letting him have sex with her kid, who was a 2-year-old, in exchange for this boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, and then they were monetizing that content.
Jeez.
So yes, it's not just dudes.
It's not just dudes.
All right.
Right.
Also, calling it content is rough.
Content is
I know.
Oh my God.
It is the underbelly content
is a broad
of what we
definition.
call the dark web.
All right, the fact that you keep it together dealing with stuff like that, because again, what I was going to get to with just the regular apps,
Yeah.
the stuff
Yeah,
that
yeah.
makes
Oh,
it,
yeah.
I don't know how you guys don't just go Judge Dredd, like turn those cameras off, and then it's
Yeah.
like, oh, do we need this?
Right.
I'm
I've seen, because I just watched a video, I think yesterday, of a man was extradited here.
Right.
And it's like a disappointed dad.
Yeah,
more than
dude.
it is how, it's that feeling of like, this authoritative, like, because I think that sometimes you see a lot of LARPers these days going out and trying to do the Chris Hansen thing, and they just scream in the guy's face and slap him around. And I'm like, no, the trick I've always seen on that show, and like with what you do and what Hansen does, is it's this authoritative presence that immediately makes the person kind of collapse.
You
without
done
any
sunned him. Which I'm like, I can't believe you're sonning pedophiles. But it's like, God damn, dude. Because again, I'd be like,
hilarious.
there he is, blow his brains out, another Miller time.
Radio
like,
edit.
Yeah. Well, all right.
That's
I will,
Louis,
I'll
by the
edit
way.
it.
That's
Louis. I'm the only one who's going to make the edit.
I edit it. Yeah. Well, I'm the editor, dog.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
But no, it's all right. Handcuff him aggressively.
Yeah,
but again, the whole like, I appreciate that you guys have professionalism in dealing with monsters like that.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't have the patience or like maybe even the understanding. Like I try to extend empathy even to a person like
Listen,
that, where we
man.
have to protect his rights. I'm like, oh, I love the Constitution, but
Yeah.
can we please blindfold just a
But
little
that,
bit more?
we make sure Louis never does a ride along for the
No,
record.
no,
all
no.
right?
Too late.
Ever.
Already did. Bath.
Wow.
Bath Township.
Oh
PD,
my gosh.
baby.
Hey, that's Bath. That's not
Bath
Genesee
rules,
County.
man. I've got friends, mid-Michigan
Yeah,
dudes, Bath
right.
Township guys, good force, great social media presence.
Right
Yeah,
on.
they're
You
funny.
know,
They're very funny.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
But
Yeah.
no, I did a ride along, and then every time they go, "You're fit, you're active, you're fun,"
We'll hire you.
Yeah, but I'm like, I would be the worst.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
after, like,
right.
day
You
two,
wouldn't
I'd
be
be
making
like,
probation.
Sorry, guys.
Louis got to go.
he doesn't
Yeah.
get a gun. I'm like,
Yeah,
why?
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
distributing justice.
That's right.
I wanted to ask because I think to a lot of people in Michigan, even if they don't know you, they know Ghost because the billboards are
That's right.
everywhere. And Ghost was you formed Ghost when?
2018.
2018. Okay,
May.
and I was watching. I was on the website. I was getting certified on the website.
Nice. Good looking out.
And I saw you. You said that you had the idea for it because you did some international things. Tell me about that. What was how'd that come about?
The whole story started in 2017. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm speaking. I come off the stage. I meet a guy who's part of an organization out on the West Coast, and they take operators like me. I've done undercover dope. They take SEAL team members or Delta Force members, people who've done undercover in their profession, and we go to other countries and we order up kids and vulnerable. And you can't go to another country and expect to use their undercovers because 90% of all the Predators content and all the customers are white, American, and European males.
Wow.
Oh, that's
So-
not a good look for the boys.
Right on, it's not. Across the country.
It's tough.
90% of
Yeah.
all the child pornography is being consumed by the white male from America or Europe. It's crazy. So we form these undercover operations and we go over there and we do this intel gathering and then operations. Long story short, in my first trip in Mexico, it was an aftercare trip. The next one, it was February of 2018. And we're doing a 2-day operation in Haiti. I've been to Haiti more than any other country in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And this was an op, and we went to this place. And before the second day, I was playing a role of a CEO of a company for the owner. We were going to have a corporate party.
So you're part of the sting.
Yeah,
You're, okay.
yeah.
So
I'm the
This-
one who's
is
running.
this a federal task force then?
It is not because
Really?
yes, it is a federal task force in that country.
Okay.
But we don't go there on behalf of a law enforcement organization. We go there to volunteer and to get the job done.
That is some Johnny Woo fucking do-it-yourself attitude.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. What?
Yeah. So we were there, and I was working with some people. On the second night, I'm just about to come down, and I cut a video, and Port-au-Prince is behind me. And I said, there's got to be something that you fight for, something you believe in. And I do this like little inspirational video. And I said, I'm fighting for the people behind me right now. And I did the second day. We go into this club. We're all patted down, and we're gathering intel from girls that were taken from Europe, brought over to Dominican and hijacked and kidnapped to Haiti. And so the traffickers are right there, and we're bouncing. It's just big bouncing music, and we're trying to talk and gather intel, let them know we're not here to buy you, we're here to help you. And the whole time this is happening, you have no government protection at all. Zero.
Yeah,
we're not there on behalf of the American government.
QRF, nothing?
Zero, nothing. We
guys strapped?
No, they took all of it. We had one security guy, Rocky, from Haiti, and they strapped him and they took off his pistol and they put him in there. It was just us. No, he had no gun. They took
nothing.
Zero. Because before you get in there, they pat you all down, they take his pistol, they put it in the locker, and then you go into the club. And everybody has security in Haiti, but they didn't see him as a police or law enforcement.
But with no federal
right,
assets.
Zero, nothing. And the only way, and I'm not trying to melodramatic it, I'm just trying to say we already knew going into it, if something goes sideways, we're fighting our way out. But by God's grace, it went well.
I was going to say literally fist fighting.
Right, correct, right. And here's the only thing, too, is when you don't have a weapon, you're not there on behalf of the government, you just take out the first person who has a weapon, and then now you have a weapon. Yeah.
Hey, you heard it here, kids?
That's it. No, that's only if you're in Haiti under attack.
Sure.
Yeah, but not in America.
Bruce Willis,
I'm like, that's
right.
a John Wick type
but that was dude. But that trip, I was coming home, and I'm just like, we got to do something, because I saw it live, and I knew how to do operations because I was there. And then I came back to my office, and my sheriff, who's my predecessor, I said, would you be interested in allowing me?
You were under sheriff?
Yeah, I was number 2 guy.
All right.
I said, would you be interested in allowing me to set up a proactive team for human trafficking? And he gave me the green light. My predecessor did 5 years in the CIA. So he understands these operations. He himself has done operations. He was an interrogator. So he understands that. And he allowed me to build this team out. We did our first op in May of 2018. It was a rescue operation. And we identified kids that were off the grid. We found one girl who was right down the road here, living in a bathroom, sleeping in a bathtub, had defense wounds on her. She was special needs, and she was 15 being pimped out. And it was like the team realized right then and there we have it. Yeah. So we did our first proactive operation. We got our prosecutor in here. We wanted to make sure we got everything dialed in. And we were posting ads on social media. No apps in 2018, just all web-based.
Damn.
And we wanted to do just one, like arrest one. And we, used our own chatters and our own decoys. I taught everybody how to do it. We learned as we went. We arrested 6 the first operation. And since 2018, we've arrested 223 predators. We've never lost a case. We've never lost a trial, never lost a bind over. We've operated in 64 counties around the state of Michigan and 9 states throughout the country. Wow. Ghost is the standard.
Dude, that's doing it right. Yeah. Not like this to catch and release predator bullshit we've seen.
You can't do that.
No.
It's got to be law enforcement.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I just did a story on that. Seriously, Dan Abrams has a show, and he had a guy named Jesse Weber that does. They had a whole vigilante group out of a college on the East Coast, and they lured a guy in who was literally answering a dating ad for somebody who was not underage.
Who was 18 or 19. 18. I saw that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they assaulted him, and it all went sideways. And I did this story just last week, and I said, I understand if the heart is right, but most of the time it's just content creation.
Right.
Yeah. And you undermine the system. So if you have a heart to do this, to work with law enforcement.
I was going to say, that's where you sign up.
I remember seeing that, and I was like, the most important aspect here is that it's an underage kid. And it wasn't even that.
Wasn't even
so
close.
What are you even
Listen,
doing
I think
here?
we can all agree at a certain age, 18 and 19 is creepy. But
it's not illegal.
Yeah,
right.
But it's like, gee, they beat the shit out of the guy.
Kidnap him, Do you also know that when it comes to arresting a predator, it's a wide net. Everything's, done different. But 9 out of 10 of these people have never had any law enforcement interaction. Wow. Most of them not only had no law enforcement, but most of them are individuals who have normal lives. And when we do this, we keep 25 future victims from being assaulted, because it's never their first time when they get caught. And it goes, and it's a whole progression from fantasy into reality.
I mean, that's great.
And that's why we do these.
They've been at it for a while.
That's why we do these,
At the risk of psychoanalyzing a bit, do you think it's because the people who have had more interactions with the police just know better? Well, there's definitely a culture of those who are predators that work with other predators to get better. Well, and they also probably have a bit of a hubris. It's like, well, I haven't been caught this long.
So they get more and more bold.
I think it takes it's not a gangbanger. Like, it could be, but I'm just saying, like, there's a difference between, like, no, I'll throw with a cop versus, like, a creepy, flying under the radar type of dude that's just like, I'm just like everybody else.
I was just
and you're like, what the fuck do you do afternoons, Bill? And he's like, nothing. You're like, okay.
I was just saying downstairs, there was an episode of Takedown that was in the UP, and they catch this like 60-year-old guy, he's a married guy, and he just, once he realized.
That was in Marquette.
Yes, in Marquette.
Yeah, Sheriff Zybert.
Yes, and this guy just goes, hell, I could have stayed home and worked on my deck. And I was like, I've met this type of guy so many times. You know, it's not the cliche that we think of as kind of like a creepy, off-putting guy with glasses or something. But it's, you know, so many people turn up on these shows, and it's like any guy that you just meet in your life.
Yeah, I guess it is kind of, even the guy you had at the airport.
Yeah, there's the doctor that was caught here.
Yeah, Joswell, he was treating patients while he was communicating with our decoy, sending pictures, and he had 16 patients that day.
Yeah.
You know, or like the guy who literally, he's 36 years old, drove down to Genesee County, connected with a 12-year-old middle schooler, and connected on a chat app, and then became friends with her friends. Next thing you know, he's dropping off phones. Next thing you know, he's picking her up at the school, taking her to the bus stop, assaulting her. And then the mom walks in the bedroom and sees the predator through the window with the screen out, running behind, and then calls the police. This guy's been assaulting her daughter for 30 days before he was even identified.
God, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this is is this the doctor?
No, this is a whole nother one. Yeah, this guy we have in jail.
I'm going to show you the
Yeah.
doctor later
All right,
because
yeah,
he does the
we'll
most.
catch up on
He does
that.
the most unconvincing fake feint I've ever seen him. And he's like wiggling and he's going, oh, and I was like, you're a doctor. How do you not know what somebody
But you know
looks
what?
like
I'm
when
going to
they
tell
faint?
you, this dude has committed to being a voice to show others what not to do.
Sure,
Part of his plea agreement
Okay.
was, I want to be an educator to others so they don't get to where I got.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
because that guy's trying to stay out of the showers,
Yeah,
my guy.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
listen,
I've never had that happen.
The correctional
Yeah, no, that's
facilities
probably
of
gotta
the
be
country
first.
need
Yeah.
some work, but I mean, there's a little bit of justice
That's
got to
be a first, I'd assume.
First
That's
ever,
something-
yeah. Did you read whatever was on those billboards you're talking about? What statement stands out to you? Do you remember some of those statements? I have one like predators play for keeps. If your kid's business is your business, make victims into survivors. If you don't love your kids, somebody else will.
Oh, that's the one I've seen. That one.
That one's
oh my God, I've
devastating.
seen that one.
Yeah.
Who came up with that one? Because that is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
That one's epic.
Listen,
that is Shakespearean.
I do remember that one. That
I got
was
to tell you
pretty
the
good.
story, dude. I was with Chris Hansen in Orlando. We were doing a crime con, event, and there was like 4,000 people out in the crowd, and we were talking back and forth, and it just hit me. I'm like, listen, you guys don't understand. If you don't love your kids, somebody else will. And I just kind of laid the line.
It just rolled off.
It
the
rolled
tongue.
off.
Yeah. Wow.
The next day, I'm walking through the resort, and two moms from Ireland stopped me. And I won't do my Irish accent because I don't have one.
Yeah, we
And
normally do
she's-
voices.
Yeah, and she's like, can we tell you something? They're two sisters.
Yeah.
And they're like, you need to put that line out there for people because of all the things we heard this whole seminar.
Yeah.
That one rocked us as
Yeah.
moms. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
You're telling me if I don't, somebody else will? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
It actually started some controversy because I'm not trying to say you don't love your kids. I'm just saying predators want to fill a need that maybe somebody's not filling.
Yeah, I was going to
called
say.
grooming.
I think anybody with a passing level of literary, any type of literacy will understand.
Okay.
what I'm
And plus,
trying
it's
to
like, hey, man,
I
if somebody's been hanging out with your kid for 30 days, I'm like, hey, you probably
Yeah.
could have loved that
Yeah.
kid a little bit more as a
Yeah.
parent. You know,
Right.
I don't want to victim blame here, but I'm like, oh, damn, parent
Yeah.
should have been a little bit more aware.
Well, it's like you have to talk to the parents. You can't.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to tell other
Yeah,
people?
do you
don't-
guys-
That's why we do
educate
these
parents
stories
as well?
Do I what?
Educate the
Yeah, that's why
parents
we're
as
doing.
well. Yeah.
That's why I do the billboards. That's why I do the media. That's why I
Yeah.
do the shows. We did 8 people that we arrested 2 days ago. It is not pleasant because I know their families are paying the price
Yeah.
when their loved
Yeah.
one's up there, and they're like, "What is going on?" But I hope that one story or one statement or one podcast rocks them enough to say, "We're going to sit down and we're going to talk about this. Let me see your phone." For the whole family.
Yeah. God damn.
Were you ever hesitant to? Because I think you're such. I mean, the camera likes you. You tend to be very comfortable.
You've
on the
got
news
the
and things like that.
riz,
as the kids say,
the
as my
millennials,
generation
yeah,
says.
the Z kids.
But was there a hesitancy on your part ever to go on camera that much to be on things like Takedown? No. Immediately you're comfortable with it?
Yeah, it is very natural for me to be direct to camera or do an interview, and I don't take it for granted. It's a gift, just like you guys doing this, or even stand-up comedy,
Hey,
and not everybody's good at it.
Well, we know.
Yeah, that's right.
We know.
It's more than not everybody's Happy Gilmore funny.
Doug. One of these days we'll take you to an open mic.
Yeah.
We'll do
a ride along at one of our open mics.
I guarantee you'll find a predator there, and you will definitely see some horrible comedy. But anyways, John, because we're kind of getting there. You want to go for?
Oh well, didn't see me up. Well, I saw you. You gave a great speech at the DNC.
Thank you.
Last year. First of all, I guess was more than anything, was that something you were hesitant about? Because I know being a sheriff is an inherently kind of a political position because you run for office and you vote in, but that's a whole new thing. Yeah. What was that thought process like leading to that decision that I'm going to go there and I'm going to speak?
Well, I'll tell you what, leadership comes with a price.
Yeah.
And you got to be willing to write the check.
Yeah.
And leadership, especially at the level of inspirational leadership or executive leadership, you got to be able to say, I know that if this is what I believe in, even if somebody doesn't understand, it's worth the risk to go there and say, this is what I believe, to protect people, to serve people, to unify people. And I know just by being in that environment, people have just said that I'm not going to listen to that message, but it doesn't change the message, even if somebody's going to shut it down. And I will tell you that my path of carving a new message is for somebody to say, don't look at where I'm at, don't look at what I am or what I represent. Does what I say make sense?
Yeah.
And if that is what people can say, you know what, it makes sense, then forget the messenger.
Right.
And when I talked and I spoke on, we as a country need to make sure that others are watching us as not only resilient, but unified.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if I have to stand there in uniform, representing an agency that's been here since 1836, 3 generations, talking about I stand up for people by protecting them.
Yeah.
I will serve you no matter what. And I will unify people, and I will work with anybody else who wants to unify. I don't care where they're from, what they associate with. That's the message I said.
Yeah.
At 9:15, I walked on stage day 4.
Was that? It's 9:15 in the morning.
9:15
right?
at night.
I was gonna say that's at night.
Yes,
gotcha.
prime time.
Oh,
I walked on stage at 9:15. At 9:07, I can show it to you on my phone. I had one of my chief of staffs there, and I looked at my watch, and my pulse was 56.
Damn, ice cold, dude. Ice cold.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing something that you believe in, you don't need to be nervous.
Well, here's the thing. I did watch that, and again, it was kind of blowing my mind. I'm like, this isn't really that political.
But,
what you're saying, I'm like, this is not like...
You flip the script because the right tends to be the law and order side.
Yeah.
That's what they tout at least. And when all you had to do is you brought out January 6th and then you compared it to what you did.
That's right. I have a real comparison of how to lead in crisis.
Yeah. It was perfect.
And I'm going to tell you, no party owns law enforcement.
Right.
No.
Law enforcement is America.
Yeah. So based on that, and just to understand, I'm not expecting to get a straight answer on this, but are you going to run for governor?
Well, that's a terrible one-liner to start a question. What if I were to answer that?
Hang on. Check this out.
It's a challenge. I'm saying I don't expect you to.
I do want a straight answer.
I want a straight answer.
You can lie your ass off to John.
I don't want a straight answer.
Like, nah, dude.
Do you realize I've been a detective for 32 years, right?
Sure,
I didn't believe anything you just said.
Hey, that's fine. Bad cop, good cop.
He's doing it right now.
I want the...
Wait a second.
He's stalling a straight answer
right
now.
All right.
Well, let me respond with a question. Should I?
Yes. Dog.
Boom! There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's official.
Hell yeah.
I didn't say anything. I just said boom. There you go.
Up top, dude.
No,
Come on.
Said boom.
I don't care.
There you go.
All I'm saying is maybe a governor that realizes the big 3 is great, but we bring some of those film industry jobs back up from Atlanta.
Bring the Gran Torino.
Hey,
let me just say, I anticipate a part 2 of this podcast.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Talking about whatever you want.
Dog. Hell yeah. I'm just saying we got a lot of old factories that would be great sound stages, and LA currently is losing a couple. Maybe we diversify Michigan's economy. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
So to be clear before I tell people, that was not an official announcement.
It was not.
It wasn't. Right. We said
it. Was no.
But,
that's right. That's right.
You
I guess
said you didn't care about a straight answer.
That's what you did just get. You got an endorsement before you even announced running.
So. You guys said yes in stereo. That was impressive.
Yeah, what are you
that was
talking
impressive.
About, dude?
Yeah. But I will tell you too that question has been posed for years and years and years. And when you do something here and you could do something at a greater level. I think leaders need to sometimes put all the fear factor and all the risk and say, what makes the most sense, do the greatest good for the greatest amount of people.
Yeah. Hey, I hear you. I just don't want us to be left in the incompetent, unless he's a close personal friend of yours, the incompetent hands of Mike Duggan would be a real bummer, unless he's a close personal friend.
I'm friends with everybody.
I'm sure you are. That's why you're going to be a great governor.
I don't
now,
think
here's
he's an enemy maker.
No, I'm just saying, it would be, before I got into semi-pro goofing, I was a lobbyist, if you can believe that nonsense.
Wow.
And I met Rick Snyder and that administration, and as soon as like, hey, why are we sending jobs away? And I was like, just make the taxes work in a way that the industry wants to work here and we don't get screwed.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Dude, I got 2 words to say. Stay tuned.
Yeah, all right. All right.
All right, that's
CRF. Now, here's the thing. We got a couple minutes.
This is the best part of the podcast. It's always the end.
Well,
I love this.
Hang on. We bump mics, so gentlemen.
We always bump mics, and then we have a post-credit.
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
Hey, this is for the people that made it this far. You know, this is a sneaky.
How many episodes have you guys done?
48?
All right,
This will be
good.
48 or
Well, because when you hit
49.
that 50 mark, in podcast world, that is where you make it. You survive the marriage.
Yeah.
At 50.
That's over that
Let
hump.
me
There you
tell
go.
you, not even counseling. We're
Got it.
fine.
Got it.
Right. Yeah.
No, all right. So it's just the fun, just guys talking now. Just a couple guys. You want to take that badge off and we horse around. What's your bench, dog?
Stay tuned. Oh, my bench?
Yeah.
So I got to tell you, man, I'm fit to fight. I can tell you that. Yeah. I can go, I can lift, I can push, I can sprint, I can do a lot. I've always said I want to be big, strong, fast, and lean.
Yeah.
And so I'm a 5-time Ironman finisher. I've been training. I've done bodybuilding shows and marathons, and I can do hundreds of push-ups a day. I train 6 days a week. I have no off button. And when I commit to something, I finish or die trying.
All right. I'm just saying, is it more or less than 315?
That's it.
There it is. Oh, I tore my patellar tendon in half.
You can do 315?
On the bench, yeah.
Got
I
it.
can't
That's
squat at all.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
that's it. You could probably get me on the bench.
Okay, I was going to say, you get it.
Yeah, but I'm more of a full-figured bodybuilder.
Well, as you age, your body lets you know injury after injury.
Not
like,
me,
we
man.
don't do that movement
No, Swanson does. I tell my body that I don't hurt.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm tell you
that's
right.
right.
Now, your body will push back.
Listen, it's a mindset, bro. I will do it if I.
Great.
What's that?
I said not yours. You're doing.
That's
great,
it. I just keep going. That's right. What?
Oh, sorry. I was going to ask. Are you a cold plunge guy then?
I hate being cold. Period.
Yeah. Well.
So my son is a cold plunger, and I'm like, I don't care what the health benefits are. I would much rather be in a 130-degree dry sauna on a bike for 90 minutes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which I do all the time.
You live in Michigan, dude.
I know. I know it. I know
just
it.
stay at the
I know
window
it. Yeah,
all
that's
winter,
right.
Sheriff,
that's
Judd
right.
is living the life you want.
I'm telling you, man. I love. We were born in 98-degree weather, and as a baby, and I love it. We're supposed to be in a warm, but I do not cold plunge. A lot of people that do like, oh, it's great benefits. Yeah, but the 3 minutes you're there are the worst 3 minutes of the day.
Yeah. Also, I've done it before, and I personally think it's horse shit. Like a day later, I'm like, that didn't seem worth it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like,
That's
$200
great.
on a shitty bathtub. Like, no thanks. Or thousands for a reusable. Like,
yeah, I'd rather be in a jacuzzi. Go ahead. What else?
me too.
All
I
right.
agree.
Since we're just talking, here we go. That's the
God,
only thing you had to end on is if I cold plunge.
This is just post.
All right.
Post.
Get to the question.
Hey,
There's-
you're supposed to handle.
Listen, I know there's always a question.
all
Before we leave, dude, we got to ask this question.
All right, this one,
Okay, I got one. Are you going to run for president?
There you go.
All right, this one, no pun intended.
Yes.
I did want nice. I did want to wait until there's a rapport. Maybe you get that.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So no pun.
We're done
intended.
slow dancing. Let's go right to it.
So no pun intended. Gun to your head. Best pistol round ever.
So I'm going to tell you this, man. I am not a firearms trainer. I'm not a firearms instructor. I am good with the pistol, but I'm better with the Remington 870 shotgun.
All right.
And I can smoke a pheasant at a pheasant hunt.
Damn.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
All right.
And when you see me, I can guarantee I'm always strapped.
I was gonna say,
yes.
ski? Do you
I
ski?
do. I can ski. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Me
Why
too.
do you ask?
No, I'm just saying.
That's a crazy hunt. Pheasant hunting to ski.
I wasn't challenging.
Wow. That's right. We'll have to go to the.
I was like, nah, dog, just what are you
And humble. Yeah, I'm very good.
That's like, dog, what are you up to this weekend? Is what we're getting at. Like, let's go shoot some birds and ski down.
That's right.
That'll be part 2 of the podcast.
But yeah. And then last thing, Governor, if you want to say anything to a crowd of folks. We got 30 or 40 dedicated lists. No, I'm just
30 to 40. Hey, I'll take them.
It's going to be – oh, they're voting for you. But the floor is yours for any last thing you want to say to anybody.
Listen, man, you don't have bad days unless you choose to have a bad day. Because if you look long enough, when you're thinking that life is this, life is that, somebody's got it 10 times worse than you. So when you are out there and you're listening to things – don't worry about what you don't have. Take inventory of what you do have and be thankful for it, because I have seen for 3 decades people who had everything in an instant it's gone. That's why I'm optimistic, because I choose to be. Damn. So should you.
All right.
Beautiful.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Damn,
Louis.
it up, dude. I look at I one guy the hell out of that. Like, what do I do?
We didn't even do the snap. There we go. That's better.
That was like the
there we go. Here we go. Let's do it. There we go. Yeah. And on that note, mic drop.
On that note.
That to all your 48 guests.
We've only had 24.
Louis, would you come here for a quick second?
Yeah, Louis, get in here.
Yeah. All right, hold on. I need you to record this and then record this reaction.
All right.
So this is the humble jokester. Let's just role play and say that you see Louis and you want to ask him a question. What would you say to him?
What are you doing with that dog on your sweater?
I'm learning disabled. It kills me out. All right?
Take a seat.
Disabled, is that what you call it?
Hey, tell him where to sit. How does that work? Your epic line.
You're going to have to have a seat right over there, Louis.
Well, all right, if I know anything from watching the show, lawyer. I'd like to talk to the lawyer.
He's sweating right now. Lawyer? He's sweating. And it's not because of the aardvark sweater.
Not at all.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Take care, Chris.
Chris, next time you're in Michigan, we'll have you on next.
I'd love to do it.
All right.
I'll approve it.